Coming up on the Best of John Miller, we show you a tiny chapel with a very big tale to tell.
When it was vandalized, the boys put a rope around the steeple and pulled the whole front end off.
Also, if you think kids are a handful, some teachers try to wrap their hands around some wild salmon. And how's this for a positive attitude? We meet a worker who always has a smile and a hello for people who pass by.
Maybe when I grow up, I'll be a greeter at Walmart.
Plus, take a gander at one family's wild pet. Find out how this goose ended up setting up nest in one Treasure Valley neighborhood.
Discover the lighter side of Northwest living as Idaho's News Channel 7 presents the Best of John Miller.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Best of John Miller. Happy you could join us today. Well, now, for a chapel so small it can barely hold a congregation, but it's a big point of interest for weary travelers in the Northwest. It comes with one cute little caretaker who shared the story with John Miller.
It's the tiny roadside chapel.
It's a Wildwood Chapel.
That tiny Tootsie Clark believes survived thanks to a tiny miracle.
The good Lord was helping us, you know. Isn't that cute?
Roomy.
Uh-huh.
The one steeple, one Bible, 5-pew chapel seats a whopping 9.
Yes, and the minister stands up here.
Right.
And then the doors open, and anybody that can't get in, they stand on the porch.
Or they go across the road in search of the last cinnamon roll at Tootsie's little restaurant, where she's watched over the Wildwood Chapel for 3 decades.
We got it in 1975.
Saved it, really, after vandals destroyed it back in the 70s.
When it was vandalized, the boys put a rope around the steeple and pulled the whole front end off. And then from there, they destroyed the pews and the windows.
Those windows and pews were replaced, and then...
Well, the first year we put it out here, on Memorial Day to October, there was over 6,000 people signed the register.
6,000. Big numbers.
Uh-huh.
Small chapel.
Yeah.
And a small miracle because when the vandals yanked that steeple, it crashed down right on their truck.
And they couldn't get away.
They couldn't get out from under it, huh?
Factor in the police were just down the road, the vandals were caught, the damage was paid for, and Tootsie sure all of it's a sign.
You don't mess.
Not with the chapel.
So even if Tootsie Clark can't guarantee you the last cinnamon roll, she'll always promise an open door.
No locks. The doors are always open.
After all, no one else has messed with the Wildwood Chapel in almost 30 years.
People respect it, and that's what I like.
In the summer months, they book 2 weddings a month in the little chapel, though everyone winds up seated outside. Talk about digging for a story. John pulled this one right out of the statehouse lawn. He caught up with an archaeological dig by the Historical Society to learn a little bit more about life around the statehouse before the current house was even built. Here's a bit of what they found.
At first, it was hard to tell if we'd even be able to excavate a story from this 7-by-7-foot hole behind the State House.
But we were also curious to see if there was anything left from the territorial days. This is from 1887.
Right.
And here are the areas that we're looking at.
State historical buff Mary Ann Davis went on to explain that in the territorial days, the territorial capital stood where our State House stands today.
Right. So it's a good thing that you came, because we could use your help.
Help? Help. Excavating any remains of this building, which they figure stood exactly above this hole.
Well, they would have dug a hole in the ground and probably put a structure over it so there would have been some privacy. And then when it filled up, they would have covered it over and moved it and dug another hole.
Oh, that's foul.
So there we were, digging up the old state toilet. Seems back then people often threw things in the privy they didn't want others to find. Not that I really wanted to find them.
This is boring.
Okay.
Not nearly as cool as the time they drove that car up the State House steps, though we did manage some minor discoveries.
These are little pieces of ceramic. We also find pieces of their food.
Food?
And we're looking at different pieces of the puzzle and trying to put it together into the final picture.
In this case, a puzzle bonded by glass pieces, nails,
pork chops.
Yes.
Trying to find out what Idaho life was like in the late 19th century, or at least in the outhouse.
So you think you want to be an archaeologist?
I don't know. Kind of think I might stick with my day job.
All right.
John's such a great reporter, always willing to dig up those tough stories. Love it. Some Idaho teachers have quite a fishtail to tell their students these days. They got a slippery, slimy, hands-on lesson on the South Fork of the Salmon River, all part of Fish and Game's Project Wild. Here's a look at how and why these classroom teachers became students of nature.
Let yourself get excited. This is a remarkable experience you're going to have. Good job! What you're going to be doing is handling them. So it's going to be 10 to 15 pounds of raw muscle, and some of you are going to get slapped up. Most of you are going to get a little wet, and some of you may actually drop your fish.
And some of you may actually drop your fish twice.
Yes! These fish have come nearly 900 miles.
And now they're taking a quick detour into the arms of middle school teacher April Harris and Leslie Cantrell.
I have goosebumps.
And Tom McGinnis.
The kids are the ones that are going to inevitably benefit from this whole program.
When they hear how their teachers became students and helped with the trapping and counting and measuring of the monster fish.
105, that's the biggest of the year so far.
Can you believe Mr. So-and-so actually smooched a salmon and sent him on his way to spawn and die after a 900-mile trip from the ocean?
All right, it's good. It's a good one.
I have this awe and this energy now, and I'm going to be able to share it with my students. And I think teachers have to be able to take that passion and relay it back to their students and maybe get some passion going with them.
Yeah!
A catch and release experience that caught middle school teacher April Harris by surprise.
Now you give it a kiss and just hold on to its tail.
I mean, I've never really had an appreciation for salmon till now, so it's pretty awesome.
Look at him go. Woo!
That was a big old fish. Well, John tells us the teachers also spend part of their time, and I don't know about this, studying bats and wolves. Coming up, Jake Molinar is a guy who is on track.
Oh, I gotta let him know I'm here.
His own private racetrack. We show you some of the action. And next, feel like you're getting nickeled and dimed everywhere from the gas station to the stores?
The more you give, the more I have.
John shows us the growing price of doing business. Welcome back, everyone. Well, have you noticed things cost just a little bit more than they used to? Maybe that's always been the case, but John really noticed it back in 2001, so he offered people a penny for their thoughts and found that's about all you can get for less than 50 cents these days.
It had to be you.
It seems so many people are getting nickeled and dimed these days. Even Billy Cassidy's getting shortchanged.
Everything is going up just a little bit, but I wish it'd go up a little more in there.
Where you notice it most?
What, the payphone? 50 cents. To make a call is ridiculous.
I'm sure everybody can sympathize with the gas prices.
Right. That's not even nickel and diming.
That's extreme gouging.
We're getting ripped off is what we're getting.
Kelly Larondo's among those sick of paying extra at the pumps and the post office.
Stamps went up?
Yep, right after the parking meters.
Oh, that's a good point.
I put in 50 cents, I put in 2 quarters, and I'm really mad about it because I only got 30 minutes and I thought I was going to get an hour.
Jim Steele knows those were the good old days.
2 bits would buy you 24 minutes, and 10 cents would buy you 12 minutes.
You know that old saying, time is money, money is time? Well, how much money is how much time? In this meter, a quarter gets you 15 minutes. In our meter, get 12.
Stay too long in either and find out what else went up.
Parking tickets, yeah, I don't know what else.
Parking tickets have gone up?
$9, I got one.
Debbie McKay says it's like watching your money go up in thin air, which, by the way, now costs 50 cents.
I mean, when is it going to end?
Never.
Had to be you.
But Billy Cassidy's hoping for a new economic tune. After all,
the more you give, the more I have.
Wow, did you see those gas prices? $1.67. Are you kidding me? That looks cheap right now. John found several payphones around town, by the way, that still cost 35 cents, but if you see one with Quest on it, expect to pay 50. Well, if you've driven by the Grove Hotel in downtown Boise, you probably didn't realize how much enthusiasm went into the building's construction. See, sometimes workers there have to wait 15 or 20 minutes for the construction elevator to go up and down. So, as you're about to see, one worker, Ron Rico, found a kind of strange way to pass the time.
Either Ron Rico is the nicest construction worker in the whole world, or he's been hit on the head by a large beam.
Well, actually, I have. So when did you start waving?
Oh, I've been here a year.
Yeah?
Been here over a year. I've been here a while.
Waving the whole time, huh?
Why not? What are you gonna do? Stand around and be gloomy, you know?
Yeah.
I'd just as soon wave.
So you might as well make yourself useful.
Maybe when I grow up, I'll be a greeter at Walmart. You just never know.
You'd be happy doing that,
I would be happy doing that. Yes, I would. Yeah! I feel good.
So what's more enjoyable, the work or the waving?
Good one. 50-50 split, probably. I don't know. That's borderline right there. I don't know. I just have a hard time not being happy.
I guess there are worse things in life, huh?
Yeah, I guess there would be, wouldn't there?
What do you think of Ron? Is he nuts?
You know, you take somebody that's frowning and you have them wave, they gotta brighten up their day a little.
Yeah.
Bus drivers, I found that bus drivers, they must be overpaid and underworked because they're always willing to wave.
So what happens when this building's done and you move on?
I find me a new corner to wave on, I guess, huh? I gotta be happy. It's just, you gotta be happy.
Later on the Best of John Miller, a sport that's really for the dogs.
And the record is
26 feet?
26 feet.
These canines try to put their best paws forward in a dog diving competition. And when you can't get out to the racetrack, why, bring the races home. Meet a man who has done just that next. There's got to be a better way. We've all said it, and Jake Molinar has found it when it comes to training thoroughbreds. You could call it a job, but Jake's way past the age of retirement. Besides, as John found, he's having way too much fun keeping his horses on track.
Jake Molinar loves to train his horses.
So you figured you better have a track.
Yeah.
So we built one.
Then you better have an ATV.
Yeah.
So he bought one. Now his horses head out one gate.
They're ready to run, Jake.
They're ready to run.
And Jake heads out the other. And if you've never seen an 84-year-old man on the back of an ATV chasing down a pack of thundering thoroughbreds, you're about to.
How'd you come up with this idea?
Takes a lot of time to saddle a horse and ride him around one at a time. I just thought there's got to be an easier way.
And a better way.
And a faster way.
So Jake got himself about 437 miles of PVC pipe.
Do a lot of plumbing with that.
He got a starting gate. Now he's got the whole thing down to a science.
So why do you think they run from you so fast?
I just don't know. They're not afraid of me.
Oh, I bet they are. Yeah, old Jake burning down their tails there. They're probably freaking out.
Yeah.
Woo! Especially when he stops in the middle of the track. The horse is thundering, and Jake throws open the gate.
Oh, I gotta let him know I'm here.
And here come the horses. And there's old Jake. And the horses. And Jake.
Oh boy, oh boy.
And the horses.
Jeez, isn't that a little scary there, Jake?
That's the way I do it.
The Jake Molinar way.
It's been a good hobby for me.
Love it. Jake owns and trains Talent to Amuse, who holds the track record for the 1.25 miles at Les Bois. Love the name, Talent to Amuse. He now says he's trying to get out of the horse business, though, but tells us he's doing it the wrong way because he now has 2 new baby colts. Coming up later, meet a goose causing a real flap in one neighborhood.
He doesn't like to putt along. He's wanting to go somewhere between
35 and 65 miles an hour.
And next, if you tell these dogs to take a flying leap, they just may listen to you.
There's always a couple of dogs that come out of the woodwork and just blow everybody's doors off.
We're back with more of the best of John Miller after this. Welcome back, everybody. Well, it's a sport that's really or should I say, fetching. John Miller met the people and pooches who are discovering the new sport of dock dog diving, or whatever you choose to call it.
The sport of dock dog diving.
Excellent.
Seems so simple, really.
And the dogs just love it.
Master throws toy, dog flies through air, dog splashes in pool, dog climbs out of pool, dog that flies the farthest wins.
And the record is
26 feet?
26 feet.
Sadly, Joanne Thompson's dog Sophie only flies 10.
You think I have a little training to go?
But if you think that's bad, some dogs can't even figure out the ladder.
That's a good point.
If you think that's bad, some dogs can't even find the ladder.
Burn.
If you think that's bad, some dogs can't even find the water.
See that? It's just water. First of all, there's a couple things that we got to work on. And most of them have to do with confidence. Now, let them go.
After all, handler Mark Stewart says you never know who's going to be the next great dock dog.
There's always a couple of dogs that come out of the woodwork and just blow everybody's doors off.
Looks like Noel Maxwell's Jack Russell Terrier isn't going to be one of them. Of course, it's not always the dogs that need the practice.
And no matter how they do when they're done, whether they jump 1 foot or 25 feet, they always end it with a celebratory waggle.
and the drenching of the handler.
And that's all you really need to remember about dock dog diving. That and a rain hat for your kid. Oh, and Joanne Thompson's dog Sophie.
Go, go, go! Good girl, Sophie!
Just 16 more feet and
she'll be a national champion by tomorrow.
You are great!
Love the John Miller dog stories. Now, the pooches who win the regional competitions, like that one in Washington, well, they qualify for the national championships televised on ESPN, believe it or not. Goose, goose, duck.
Sometimes Christy will put him on her lap and drive him home.
Wow!
When the best of John Miller returns, we meet one family's web-footed pet. Welcome back, and this is fun. One of my all-time favorite John Miller stories. Did you ever pull that bit on your parents, you know, where you bring home a stray dog claiming it just sort of followed you home? Well, Kirk and Christy Adams hear it from their kids almost every single day, except it's not a stray and it's not a dog. It's just a winged, web-footed wonder.
You can imagine how confusing it is for the Adams pet goose.
He's 1 year.
1 year old.
Raised around hens and horses and roosters and kids and dogs.
And so as far as he knows, who's his dad?
He would probably say Keegan is his dad.
Either Keegan or their 97 Ford pickup.
So we let him out. Keegan gets in the truck. Goose flies with the truck.
Correct.
Because he thinks Keegan's his dad.
Correct.
Which sounds kind of funny.
Come on, goose, goose!
Come on, goose, goose!
Come on, goose, goose!
And looks even funnier.
When you take off, you got to make sure you're going fast enough because he doesn't like to putt along. He's wanting to go somewhere between 35 and 65 miles an hour. So
that's fast.
He wants to get up and go.
And keep going.
Hi, goose, goose! Where you been?
For almost 3/4 of a mile.
Well, don't want to run over him, huh?
Sometimes Christy will put him on her lap and drive him home.
Wow!
Of course, sometimes
Hi, goose, goose!
Goose makes the round trip himself.
So he'll always do this, huh?
He will always do this as long as he stays away from the coyotes.
And ahead of the front bumper, look out! Wow.
He's been known to follow the school bus in the morning.
And follow his instincts in the evening, always close to his father.
Another successful one there, huh?
Another successful flight.
That is a cool story. I was just concerned about oncoming traffic in the other lane. Adams say Goose Goose also enjoys swimming and watching TV with little Keegan. Very cool. Well, there's no such thing as good, clean fun in the Henry family, and there's no love lost if Dad is left in the dust. Such is life in the fast lane of dirt track racing, John met a couple of local experts who have a lot more in common than a need for speed.
When you see that guy in car 22 zipping around the track, you should know that guy is actually this girl.
And you're how old?
I'm 18.
Sarah Henry is just old enough to spend most of her weekends in a mini sprint car, bumping wheels and smashing egos.
People have told me, like, when they saw me racing, didn't know I was a girl, and I'd take my helmet off, they're all surprised.
In fact, the only dude in this duo is Sarah's dad, Steve.
I've seen a couple other father-son teams, but I've never seen another father-daughter team where they're actually in the same class, you know, racing heads up against each other.
What do you enjoy most about it?
I think a really good part is I get to spend so much time with my dad.
But don't get her wrong.
It's really fun when I beat him. It feels good.
But I don't ever let her win. She doesn't let me win either. We just race hard.
Sarah, usually the only girl in a 12-car field.
So do you feel any intimidation that way?
No, not really.
Yeah.
We're all the same size on the track.
But not always the same speed. Sarah and her dad have more than enough hardware to prove it.
These were just last weekend.
So Sarah, who's faster?
It really depends on the day.
Yeah, it really does. Some days I am, some days she is.
Pedal to the metal, full speed ahead, huh?
Yep.
Here's an update for you. Sarah is now 21, married and living in Washington State, so the father and daughter team do not race anymore. Steve says he quit racing in 2003 and now flies ultralight airplanes instead. Sounds like fun. Well, that'll do it for this time. Glad you could join us. We'll see you again next week as we continue our look at more of the best of John Miller. Thanks for joining us. See ya.
Cue up the banjo music.
Idaho!
How's it going? She is cheap. Oh, man.
Revenge is sweet.
I'd say the odds.